Welcome in, everybody, to day two of the 2024 North American Challenger League Open qualifiers. Covering Ole Miss today is Yanni and Shibi. This is the first game of day two, so the third game overall of the Swiss. The 1-1 Ole Miss taking on the 1-1 Carolina Reapers. Shibi, you weren't here yesterday for Ole Miss's games. They came out flat in game one, and in game two, they actually ended up taking the loss. They had some creative drafting around their roster limitations, but ultimately could not get the job done. And just gonna take a look at what's coming through in the draft so far. A couple of interesting bands coming out here, and then a first pick Senna for Ole Miss.
Yeah, Senna super strong at the moment. We've been seeing a lot of Senna Seraphine, Senna potentially Tom Kench. Pretty much Senna anything right now because you can abuse that double support item bot lane. Very, very strong. You get infinite scaling. We saw yesterday in the LCS Challengers, right? Or the NACL series, Wildcard had Senna Victor scaling. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the teams opt in for that because it is absolutely nasty once you get those items and once those champions get into that late game form. Seems like some games are willing to go to that 30 to 40 minute mark as long as no teams are accelerating the game pace with grubs. But Carolina Reapers opting in for Xin Zhao Lucian, two very, very strong early game champions.
Yeah, Xin Zhao has been probably the most popular jungle pick out of all of the regions, to be honest with you. You know, we weren't quite sure if it was going to stay that way once Korea started playing their games, once we started seeing LCK come through. But Xin Zhao has seen a large amount of popularity there. I like the Lucian pick here. They have a nice bookend for whatever they want to take here on R3. On the other side, Ole Miss, they are going to go with the Aatrox. Aatrox has been one of the more popular top laners as well, and this is going to be a nice deviation from Straight. Straight played 2 games of Udyr yesterday. The first game, it was fine. The second game, not nearly as impactful.
I'm going to say this now as a Udyr enthusiast, Yanni, you know it just as much as well as everybody. You got to go Liandry's on that champion. If you only build him full tank, I think you're doing a big mistake and you're really handicapping and kneecapping that champion as we do get the Poppy in. And I've been loving the Poppy into these hard gauge and champions, right? LEC specifically, last week and this week, lot of Poppy prio or banning it out if you're going to go like Xin Engage, Jax, right? These kind of champions that want to just jump onto your carries. Poppy has one ability and you are not allowed to move. You're grounded, you're rooted, and then the rest of the team can just hammer away at you. Very, very good pick from Ole Miss here. I like the Poppy pick. I'm pretty sure Icelandic Hero can pilot that with ease, and we're going to see the Sona locked in for Lucian. No Milio, because obviously they banned it themselves, but I'm still surprised they're opting in for Lucian Sona specifically.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sleeper lane, actually. Should be, you know, I got a lot of experience down in the bot lane. Lucian Sona is a little sleeper for sure because all of your abilities now buff your ally, right? So when you Q, Lucian's next auto attack is going to hit a little bit harder, but also he gets his passive proc on top of it. So you're actually hitting like a damn truck, to be quite honest with you. The only, obviously, questions about Sona is super, super squishy, right? And we'll see if they're able to pair something up with the Senna to be able to take advantage. You see Carolina Reapers banning away the Swain. That is something Ole Miss ran yesterday. They ran Swain Senna to great effect. Just made, you know, a Seraphine lane look like an absolute punching bag. A couple other bans aren't going to get taken off the table. Nico, which has been a very popular mid lane pick, also going the way of the dinosaur.
It almost feels like Carolina Reapers are kind of wanting Uncle Sam to pick this Galio, right? They remove the team Twisted Fate away, these roaming mid lane style picks that Uncle Sam likes to play, and they're going to opt in for the Corki here for the mid lane. Now, I've been seeing some very dark tech with Corki where they're building like lethality on the champion, and the math is not mathing because lethality Corki is realistically only going to net you about 7 to 10,000 AD damage when a majority of his damage comes from the AP, right? The magic damage that he does. I'm not all in on the lethality pick. I don't care if you're Chovy, Faker, God himself. You cannot convince me lethality on Corki's good.
Well, Shibi, you also can't convince me that some of the best players in the world don't know what they're doing, right? I mean, they have to be onto something with the Corki here. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're going to see Syndra get locked in here. This one's going to go over to Uncle Sam. And finally, we are going to see Uncle Sam play a legitimate mid laner. We saw him on Akshan in game 1 yesterday. It was his most his favorite champion, right?
Yeah.
You know, he had a pretty good game off of it. I think his team feasted really well, but he didn't have a great game on Nautilus mid. And you mentioned it's going to be Cho'Gath Senna, something that it's a really good pairing. It's not one of the more popular pairings, but it's still a really strong sleeper pairing. I really like what these bot lanes have put together. A lot of uniqueness coming out of the Ole Miss draft. And that's something that we've known Ole Miss and Colomer for in his time there.
Yeah, they are going to end up actually locking that Cassante in regardless. They're hovering it early on. They didn't maybe wanted to save it just till the last bit. So we're going to see Lucian Sona in the bot lane for the Carolina Reapers, Corky in the mid lane, and obviously Xin Zhao and Cassante rounding out that top side here. But that Senna Cho specifically is such a good pairing, right? The ability to combo those abilities where you get the Senna slow on, then you get the knock up from the Cho'Gath Q, then you can land the root, and now you're silenced, and you just take a heap ton of damage the moment you get anything landed on you. Senna Cho is deceivingly very, very strong if only one of their abilities lands.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get those abilities to land, right? Senna just has to hit you with a Q. All of a sudden, you're slowed up a little bit, and Cho'Gath is going to knock you up, and you're just not going anywhere. You're going to get rooted afterwards, and it's going to be an awful time. However, I would have liked to seen a different base support against this Sona, right? Because, you know, some of the best supports against Sona are, you know, hook-based champions, and yes, they don't work that well with Senna. Like, Senna Nautilus isn't as strong as Senna Cho'Gath, but it's strong for the lane that you're in. The Sona should have an okay time being able to dodge out, what with the movement speed boost and everything like that. But you know what? Ole Miss is actually fine with that. They see this as a neutralizing lane right here. You know, if Lucian Sona gets to farm up and Senna Cho'Gath gets to farm up, guess what? Ole Miss gets the better end of that deal.
Yeah, and I think the really big thing to note for enchanters and Sona as well is that you're not gated by a mythic anymore, right? You don't have to choose between Moonstone versus Shurelias or this versus that. You can just grab the whole shebang, right? It's fine. You can get Moonstone. You can get Shurelias. You can get all of these items. And oh, by the way, support item gold, you get more of it now because you only need to spend 400 gold on the World Atlas, and then the rest of the gold that you acquire for yourself can be boosted into that next legendary item, whether it's Moonstone, Ardent Censer, Staff of the Flowing Water, whatever, right? Because as you're building towards that item, you've got a support item scaling in your back pocket. Enchanters have been unleashed the most with these item changes, in my opinion, because they can just become really, really OP really, really quickly. The item breakpoints for enchanters and when they can really start beefing up both their AD carry and their team is reduced, right? 9,000, 8,000 gold gets you full inventory now. That is absolutely Billy bonkers, Yanni.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't talked about, you talked about how good Sona's kit is. We talked about how good the items are for enchanters. Now, we didn't even talk about that Sona's ultimate is still one of the better ultimates in the game, right? That crescendo going to hit multiple members. Hopefully, if you're a Carolina Reapers fan, going to just stun a bunch of people up, and they're going to be able to have the damage to back it up. But we are in our side of the spectator delay, which does mean you won't get to see that. But when we return, we will be on the Rift for this third match of the North American Challenger League Open Qualifier Swiss. It's game 3 with Ole Miss and Carolina Reapers both at 1-1. All right, everybody, we've made it on to Summoner's Rift here. Carolina Reapers and Ole Miss. Ole Miss going to be on the blue side, the Carolina Reapers on the red side. And we talked about Ole Miss 1-1, certainly not where they expected themselves, certainly not where everybody expected them, right? They were the 4th seed coming into this shibby. And, you know, they looked flat against the Kosa Gamers in game 1. And I recognized that was going to be a problem. And then game 2, finally, they made a game uncarryable for Shogo.
I'm going to blame the committee on that one. I'm just joking.
Whoa. Listen, I shouldn't be taking any strays. I put them 5th.
Yeah, I think realistically there are some reasons that Ole Miss have given as to why they may not be the most prepared, right? They only had a couple days preparation. They didn't scrim that much. You know what I say to all that, Yanni? I don't take excuses. You come into the tournament, you don't make those kinds of excuses. You play to win, you play your best, and if you lose, you lose. Right now, this bot lane, though, is going mega aggressive.
Yeah, remember that damage we talked about as The AD carries flashing away, and Shogo one hit away from death. Rhino taking a bit of damage as well. Remember, we saw Sona hit that Q. Did you see that damage that Lucian put out? Shogo lost like 200 HP.
Yeah, full summoner spells have been used by both Romy and Jimmy here. No exhaust, no heal, no flashes, or sorry, no ignites, nothing like that. Rhino, though, still has his full bevy of spells ready to go. Shogo's gonna have to play a little bit more safe, but with the potions chugged and the lane finally getting back to normal, they're gonna be okay. Aggressive, I like that from Carolina Reapers. The kill would have been the icing on top, but unfortunately they couldn't do anything. And now I have a feeling this bottom lane that Ole Miss have drafted themselves are just going to stabilize.
Yeah, they should be able to just heal up nicely. I mean, you combine Senna Qs and things like that with Cho'Gath's passive, and unless you are getting a lot of damage down, and immediately pressuring for a kill, not too much is going to happen. But this poke is going to be nice. And seeing Jimmy Koi is not able to actually walk out of those knockups. He's taking quite a few of them. Uncle Sam taking a lot of damage. Icelandic Hero flashing, but Strova's level 3 to his level 2. However, Uncle Sam flashing forward. Strova going in. Kersey over the wall. And it will be first blood going over to Strova. But Uncle Sam will trade it right back.
Yeah, really, really well played from Carolina Reapers and Strova, right? Using that advantage, say, okay, you're going to pick Poppy into me. I'm going to run straight into your jungle, and if your mid laner doesn't help, I'm going to kill you. I love that. We see why Xin Zhao's super strong. It's essentially who can build the most tunneler items, and Xin Zhao's going to win that every single time.
Yeah, nice little leg up there over Icelandic Hero, who is now level 3, but also very low. And Icelandic Hero, I didn't think he had the greatest showing yesterday. He tried to make a play on Kha'Zix in the second game where he jumped into 3 people while they were doing the dragon and tried to steal the dragon, and the dragon went down and then he died. But Shibby, you'd think that's a play that was made late. That was like the first dragon of the game and just further put Ole Miss behind in that game. So I'm looking for Icelandic Hero to do at least a little bit better today. That was not the most convincing sign.
Not at all here, but so far, looking at all the lanes, top lane doing pretty good here. Stray finally not playing on 1,000 ping, and he looks pretty damn good. I think he is the truth. I like watching this player play. I've kind of seen him in some of the games here and there, and I think he's a very good addition to Ole Miss. And while we look at the bot lane here, that's Senna Cho not falling too far behind against the Lucian and Sona, but like we mentioned, Sona, super hyper scaling enchanter, one of the few that supports that scale very, very well later the game goes because of the enchanter item, because of the potential of picking up that tier item like you see here. I think the later this game goes, obviously Senna very, very strong, but you can't count that Sona out, especially when you have double auto attack range champions. Ardent Sensor is going to go crazy along with Staff of the Flowing Water.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely bonkers, but they have to make it there, right? The Carolina Reapers have to make it that far. And, while, yes, the scaling of Senna is the thing to watch out for, I mean, the rest of this team, I mean, if Straight manages to find a kill or two on a wayward gank or something like that, we've been talking about Aatrox completely taking over the game. So Shogo's going to bring Icelandic Hero in, and that means they are going to catch out Rami. Rami goes down. The root on the Jimmy Koi, I do think he'll be able to walk it out just fine, but he creative gank there from Icelandic Hero and friends.
And I love the fact that Shogo, by prepping that gank, you saw what he did. He went into the mist form, got Icelandic Hero into the veil, and then started running at them. So now Romy doesn't know, right? Is it just a fake? Does he actually have somebody in there? And by the time he realizes it, he's dead to rights. Yeah, we do see some of the grubs going down. They're going to trade 3 gubs for first dragon here. With this bot lane, specifically Senna Cho, you want to try to go for it, especially if you get the kill here. Start that dragon stacking, go forward. Now, the timer on Ole Miss is, can they deny the 5 to 6 grub mark? That's the big thing. If they can go 4-2 in grubs, secure the next couple dragons, they should be in a really prime position to fight come this mid game.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to worry about. There's a couple of worries. So, top lane doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything to Straight's towers.
No.
A little bit of a fight breaking out. You see Rhino taking a lot of damage. We saw Rami and Jimmy Koi push up to the bottom lane turret, but not able to actually get any of that damage off because of what Shogo and Rhino can do and how they can kind of stabilize the wave. So really, it's Kersey, right? Kersey is the one that needs to really make these grubs go to work, and he hasn't been able to do that. Uncle Sam has been totally fine. Once the wave gets to his turret, he's able to just clear it out before Kersey can do anything. So what are these Void Grubs actually doing for them right now, Shiggy?
Yeah, it's got to be Carolina Reapers winning a team fight or a skirmish in the mid lane, a skirmish in the bot lane, and then using that pushing power. That's the very first thing. I'd be a lot more scared if Romeo was on something like a Caitlyn, right? Something a little bit more long range that can hammer away at that turret. As well as Kersey, he's got to push or force Uncle Sam out of this lane. And as I say that, he's landing a couple rockets and a couple autos here and there. But as long as TP is going to come up, as long as they have a way to stabilize, like you mentioned, these minions and not let them push too far, as NACLQ is down back here once again. Flash is available, although Summoner
Sam might have
available.
him here.
Uh-oh, Kersey?
Yeah, Kersey has to flash away. Uncle Sam does have flash available. Doesn't have that much HP, although Kersey doesn't really have the mana. Meanwhile, a dive in the bottom lane. Bot lane is level 6, but not for the side of the Reapers. Rami gets rooted up, and you know he's just a couple of auto attacks away from death. He will be able to flash away, but Ole Miss, they got what they came for.
Yeah, Jimmy's got to flash that from Icelandic Hero because of Sona's, like you mentioned, low base HP values, especially when she's at half HP. Dead to rights instantly. The damage coming out from this bot lane, like we mentioned, is tremendous, especially because it's kind of like an AP Cho'Gath, right? He's got Comet available. He's building Blasting Wand. Like, this is not your tank, full tank Cho'Gath. This dude hurts if he lands a Q, lands a W rotation onto you, and yeah, that kill, that dive onto the bot lane, there's not much Strova can do. We saw him get a nice, kill in the early game, but other than that, he's traded grubs, and he's just kind of been quiet. You could have fooled me, Yanni. He might have been playing Evelyn.
Yeah, I did not know that they gave Xin Zhao invisibility, but here we are, and one of the big things that concerns me is, obviously other than the grubs, as you mentioned, I mean, he hasn't gone anywhere near top lane, right? And in their win the other day, Bob Timer on Cassante was the one who did the second most damage in the game for his team. 7-3-9, had a really strong game, and you can see just what Straight is doing to him, putting the screws to him, giving him a very hard time. You can see Strova's down here trying to potentially do something for when this wave bounces back.
Oh my.
It looks like they're just going to go for it. They're going to root up Rami. Strova is just standing there. He knows he can't get in there. Culling going to go down. Shogo will be able to walk it out just fine, but what is he actually doing down here?
He's potentially covering for Poppy coming back down here. The thing is, if he shows himself in that bot side, he can't flash Wind Becomes Lightning into E, right? He was too far away. So he's going to chill down here, and if they stay, like right now, they can do the dive.
Yeah, Rhino is going to flash away. A couple turn shots coming out, but Rami is going to just take him out, but it's a 1-for-1 in the 3v2. Nice play there from the bot lane of Ole Miss as Bob Timer is going to go all out on Straight, who does have the World Ender active. He is trying to get away. Flash there, but Ghost chasing him down. Bob Timer getting closer. If he can land the knock up here, it could be GG's, but Straight able to not live up to his namesake and wiggle around a little bit.
Yeah, he really zigged and zagged out of there. Now we see some pennies going on to the grubs as they are alive at the moment. Uncle Sam is just gonna kill him?
Uncle Sam solo kill! He heard the doubters from yesterday, and he knows he's gonna turn it up a notch. If Ole Miss want to go and qualify and get 3 wins, Colomer must have broken out the belt.
I love this, right? And now we see a 3v3 in the bot lane, but uh-oh, I think it's going to go Ole Miss's way if they decide to fight.
Yeah, well, Strova wants to go super deep, and he does deal a lot of damage to Icelandic Hero. He's got a Bammy Cinder and a couple of armor items, but not all too much. Meanwhile, Teleport on the backside. Kirsty's going to be one to get here first. He's going to drop the package, and he's going to whiff the package. He's got to try to kill Rhino here, and he will with a little bit of help from Strova, who burns his flash. Icelandic Hero has realized there's a lot of people here, and Shogo is completely stranded under this turret. Icelandic Hero is going to make it a 1v3 for right now, but they will be able to at least get 1 kill. They're not going to be able to close it out onto Kersey, so it could be worse. Ole Miss is playing these dives pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting back as much as they can, as Bob Timer is going to have some alone time with that top turret. The grubs plus the stack of demolition onto the turret is going to net him at least a turret plate worth of gold. But after everything's been said and done, 6-4 scoring line, back and forth dives, the gold is relatively even. 700 separating these two teams. if you're Carolina Reapers, you're completely fine with that.
Yeah, they are certainly still in this game, and they could take over in the mid game still. You saw a lot of the damage that Strova has been able to put out. And if Kersey's package was just a little bit better, I think they win that with no problem. But it's the little things like that that could cost the Carolina Reapers. As Jimmy Coy is just going to walk up. Rhino just kind of left Shogo alone to die there. And now Rhino is going to take a little bit of damage for himself. But Icelandic Hero should be able to secure the dragon at the very least.
Yeah, and I need Strova to go for these grubs right now, right? With that kill,
Kersey
might just
gonna die. Yeah, they're gonna force the flash out, and they're just gonna take him out anyway. Uncle Sam doing the most right now. Rhino could be in a little bit of trouble here. He drops the double silence, but the damage is just so strong from these guys as Jimmy Coy is gonna get himself on the board.
Potential collapse going down onto Romy and Jimmy here.
Uncle Sam's got a good stun here. Come on, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam hits it right on top of Rami, and Rami's got nowhere to go as he's hit up against the wall. Shogo's going to pick up the pieces on that one. Uncle Sam, he might have another one in him here. He said, I got one more in me, but Jimmy Coy will be able to walk it out as the full slate of Void Grubs are taken out by the Reapers. But again, what have the Void Grubs done for them? They have gotten one turret plated.
I think the thing is that regardless, Void Grub scales into the game, right? You have it always. That buff is persistent. It's going to be there at 30 minutes. It's going to be there at 40 minutes. It's going to be there under your bed, in your closet, at night, in the daytime. It's always going to be there. So what Carolina Reapers can do, if they can get some of these more opportunistic team fights, which they have been playing decently well, one team fight win, your tier 2's gone, buddy. It's out of the window. It's completely been cashed out. As now Bob Timer is going to get ganked in the top lane while bottom lane turret goes down.
That was such a weird interaction. He gets pulled around all which way, but Stray is the one to be able to get the kill on Rhino. This is the thing with Cho'Gath. You think he's not doing a whole lot, but there's a lot of damage coming through. Kersey trying to get out of there, uses his W. He's on a blast plant, and he will be able to get away. Now Strova looking for Rhino. Strova gets knocked up. He's looking a little bit deeper. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Shogo will be able to find a way out, but he might get some time on that turret finally. Icelandic Hero could just be able to pick up a kill here. Kersey realizes he's got to try to get away, but as he tries to help, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Rami is trying to cover for him, but Kersey getting a little bit closer. He hasn't hit anything. Icelandic Hero, huge stun from Uncle Sam, and Uncle Sam's able to pick up a kill. Jimmy Coy has to ult flash away. Teleport coming in. Stray wants to get in. It's time to eat. Strova goes down. All out. Bob Timer pulls Rhino over the wall and is able to take him out. Stray wasn't able to do anything there. He does knock up Jimmy Coy as Bob Timer wants some more here. He's a level down. He does so much damage, but Jimmy Coy's in trouble. He's hit against the wall and down he goes. Teleport coming in for the Corky. Let's see what kind of action he's able to make in this play. They're able to get a shutdown, but that means Bob Timer's going to go down, and Kersey's going to teleport just to die. A double kill for Uncle Sam, who is starting to take over the game. He's got 5 kills.
He's just not Sam's uncle, brother. He is Carolina Reaper's uncle right now. The way he is demolishing this team. 4,000 gold ahead for Ole Miss, and a lot of that is sequestered onto their mid laner, onto their jungler, as Stray is going to have to get himself out of dodge. He's going to walk it out right now, and yeah, that team fight was looking good for Carolina Reapers, and then very, very bad very quickly. Uncle Sam hits a massive 3-man stun, and that's where the fight turns. You also have to realize at the start of that fight, Kersey was 20% HP. It wasn't until he TP'd back in after the dust settled to where he could finally start to work with a full HP bars worth of health, and by that time, the fight was already lost, and he TP'd to his death. Very well played from Ole Miss. I like that they took it slow and steady and just whittled Carolina Reapers down before the whole team got in on it.
There was a lot of chaos in that fight, but they played it nicely. They played it slow, methodical. They let the members of their team cook. They let Uncle Sam cook, right? He capped that off. He started that fight, kicked it off with that huge stun that just hit damn near everybody. If there was a 6th member in the game, he would have hit him too.
Yeah, 100%. And that was massive. And then that pretty much turned the fight around, like you said. And now we are getting back into a bit of a slower lane back and forth, right? Minions go to blue side, minions go to red side. Now, as I say that, Jimmy Coy
Yeah, Shogo taking a lot of damage. He tries to drop the ultimate, but Rami is going to be able to survive and walk it out. That's a huge death. Should be 35 seconds until the next dragon is up. And you will not see, I mean, Shogo will respawn, but this is an opportunity for the Reapers to set up around this dragon, get some critical vision.
I mean, I would have liked them to try to push onto this Rift Herald, right? You killed Shogo. You can start moving towards that. The resets have happened for both Lucian and Corki instead of opting in for Rift Herald, which I think makes that 6 grub play worth it, right? You can get that gold down. You can start pushing in with the Rift Herald. They're going to opt in to probably set up for this dragon here. And I get it. It's Chemtech. You don't want to try to give that 4th dragon stack over. You don't want to let them get on this whole point. But Kersey with the package, can he make this one work? Uncle Sam sees him!
Oh, Uncle Sam is 3 levels up on him, and he blows him up. Uncle Sam, have a game for yourself, young man. Here's the fight breaking out of the dragon. Strova is taking a lot of damage, and look at Stray on the backside. Lucian never stood a chance as he goes down. Jimmy Coy is now getting chased, and Bob Timer can't do a thing to help his team. Down goes Jimmy Coy. It's a double kill for Stray, and sooner or later, it's going to be a triple kill. He's got way too much HP to lose this fight. Bob Timer goes all out, but he loses it all. They take the dragon. Uncle Sam pushes down the mid lane, and the critical members of Ole Miss are rolling.
If you could point to any one part of the game and say that's where it lost, it's probably here, right? The 3rd dragon fight for Carolina Reapers. They just weren't together. They weren't really playing as a unit. And now we see Kersey desperately trying to do something, but he's dead. I like it. I like the play. No, he's dead. He's dead.
I was like, yeah, man, he made it. He had to burn his flash, but he made it. But Rhino is just too good on the knockups. He saves 2 members of his team and gets a kill. That's a good exchange. Good value.
Yeah, and I love Rhino on Ole Miss's team. I talked about him last year. I talk about him this year. He's probably the most important member for this team simply because he will play literally anything Colomer tells him, right? He will flex. He's played Maokai support. I've seen him play a handful of different champions. Rhino is the unsung hero of this team. And yeah, we can point to Uncle Sam. We can point to Icelandic Hero. These guys are having massive games, straight as well. But Rhino is that linchpin. He's that link in your chain that you absolutely need to tie these teams together. And I love that from them. So right now, 39 to 32 point K, 7,000 gold for Ole Miss. At this point, we are just waiting for Baron to spawn before the game ends, right?
Baron waiting room, you know, your favorite. Yeah, talking about Rhino, I mean, he is the unsung hero of this team. You know, supports don't often get love, but many people have told me that Rhino is the smartest player on that team, maybe the smartest league mind in that entire organization, and it shows. I mean, him and Colin are constantly on the same page with these picks. See the Rift Herald going down as Bob Timer going to take a 1v1, but Strova coming in to help. So is Rami. They're going to look to gang up on the Stray. Stray trying to do what he can to survive.
That's fine.
He will go down, but this does mean his team is not only able to double up on the Rift Herald, but also take the Baron back to back.
Yeah, I mean, this is an easy play from Ole Miss, right? Stray goes down in the bot lane, they Z4. Kersey's not going to be able to really do too much here. He's behind the item curve for Corki at the moment. He can't really do too much. They're just going to be able to chomp this with the smite and be ready to go. Although they're going to opt to go out. Never mind. They don't opt to finish it. They're going to just instead try to take the fight, potentially.
Yeah, this is a 4v5. I don't really like where this is going. Oh. Rhino is pretty big. Uncle Sam does so much, forces the ultimate out from the Xin Zhao. Icelandic Hero knocks a man away. It's a 4v4 for right now. A lot of damage going down, but they do manage to kill the Xin Zhao. Icelandic Hero very low with the kill Rami for it too, and it's Bob Timer trying to run the fight. We're back to a 3v3. And Shogo trying to do what he can to cut it out. They're going to be able to stun up Bob Timer. Kersey is here, and Stray now on the backside means the numbers advantage is for Ole Miss. Shogo takes out Kersey, and he's going to take out Bob Timer too. And now Stray says, Jimmy Coy, I'm coming for you, buddy. He's got no mana left. Stray doesn't even need to pop the World Ender, but he does. And Ole Miss can't miss. They get the ace.
They don't even need the Baron here, potentially. They're just going to walk it into the top side. I would reset, right? Catch the gold in. Start that Baron once again, because that is the team fight magnet. You can't do too much if you're Carolina Reapers. If you try to contest the Baron, you're going to lose the team fight. If you don't contest the Baron, they're going to push down because Shogo's probably at a million range at the moment. They've also got the ability to siege you so well. 700 gold into the pockets of Stray on that bot side. Yeah, the gold lead has even gone further beyond. I didn't think it was possible. I had my scouter power level going. I didn't think Ole Miss could get over 9,000, but it's getting close.
Bro, they might be way over 9,000. They're looking like Beerus God of Destruction power levels right now, man. 25 kills in 22 minutes. Oh yeah, by the way, scaling comp, by the way.
Scaling comp, by the way.
Yeah, Shogo and Rhino haven't even reached their full potential yet. But Icelandic Hero and Uncle Sam, guys that I thought needed to have big games today, have started off with a bang. Chrissy has to get away. Icelandic Hero got to the backline on top of Bob Timer. Stray taking a lot of damage on the other side. Bob Timer still getting low. Another big scatter of the week hits 2 members, and down goes the Sona. People are all up in Strova's grill. He's going to die too. Rami is forced way off to the side, and he knocks himself up in place because of Icelandic Hero, and Rhino takes a bite out of crime, and Uncle Sam predicted the flash. It don't matter. It's another ace for Ole Miss, and Shibby, this is looking like it'll be the game.
Yeah, they have Rift Herald in their pocket as well. Icelandic Hero isn't ready to drop that just yet. He's going to save it potentially for the Nexus Towers, or are they going to play it safe? Are they going to cash out the gold, get the Dragon Soul, go towards the Baron, and then end the game clinically? I think that's what they're going to do. Safe play call from Ole Miss. I like it. Don't give them any chance to come back. I love that. I like that, right? I would have been a little bit more aggressive, but I understand if you're 1-1, you're Ole Miss, get the guaranteed win, and then maybe, just maybe, if you hit that 3-win mark, you can get a little wacky at the final game.
You know, it's smart, but it does make me look like an idiot, so I'm a little upset. But you know what, Shibby? I think I just realized something. Maybe this is why we lose so many of our flex games that we're winning, is that we go for the game-ending push, right? But you know what? Maybe we should take a page out of Ole Miss's book, though, because they are playing textbook League of Legends on how you can win a game. I mean, they are just absolutely dominating, and you know, let's call it what it is. This is a team that they should dominate. Carolina Reapers did manage to get a win. They beat up on Magudis' Saplings, who was the 17th seed. So Reapers certainly flying high coming into today, but Ole Miss knew that they had something to prove in a statement game here to kick off the day. It's just up to them to end it now.
Yeah, really, and Shogo is just hammering away into that squad here. Yeah, they're going to go for the team fight in here.
Two-man scatter of the week. Where did Corky go? Stray is just doing so much right now. He's forcing 2 guys away, which means Strova's stuck in the middle of 4. Shogo on a rampage. Oh, Rami get a flat. Oh my, the chunks, bro. He chunked him like a tomato. He's making salsa, Shibby. 2 more kills for Shogo, and I think finally that'll be it.
Yeah, it has to be Uncle Sam.
Oh, Rift
just
Herald.
BMing. I know, he's
Rift
BMing
Herald.
right now.
Hey, he hit it. Listen, that's more than most people can do. And Shibby, they got 6 grubs, but they got no dubs, as Ole Miss does take a very convincing victory in this game over the Carolina Reapers.
Yeah, I mean, just a clean game here. We're looking at the end game screen right now. Massive amounts of damage coming out from the solo lane Stray and Uncle Sam. And just, like you said, complete and utter domination. It was looking good. It was looking close earlier on. I would say around the 8 to 10 minute mark. We saw the gold was only like 700 in the lead for Ole Miss. But 2 very big fights, right? One down in the bottom lane and another one in that top side jungle of Carolina Reapers, where Corky was like 20% HP for the longest time. They ended up taking that fight super slow, and then Ole Miss eventually just grinded them out, got themselves a 3,000 gold lead, and the nail in the coffin was that 3rd dragon fight, where Kersey went down with package before you could even participate in anything inkling of a dragon fight, and the rest was history, right? Ole Miss had full control of the game that point onwards. Very well played from Ole Miss. They moved themselves up to 2-1. Carolina Reapers are now backs against the wall, 1-2. They take 1 more loss, they're out of the tournament. They've got to go on a 2-game win streak here. Well played to both teams. Yanni, I mean, that was good up until it was very bad.
Yeah, and got to give some credit to the Carolina Reapers. They certainly showed a lot of fight in them against a team like Ole Miss. And, you know, Ole Miss, they knew this was the game. This was the get right game for the day. So they are looking to get 2 more wins for themselves, and you will be able to see these 2 games from Ole Miss on the Running the Rift YouTube channel. That'll do it for Shibby and I for this game. But please go take a look at the YouTube channel. Go find game 4 of Ole Miss's. We hope it's going to be a pretty good one. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope to see you there.